everybody, this is Carol from Friendly Quail. I'm back here to do day 4 of 12 days of pockets. Thank you for joining me today. I've got 2 different pockets that I'm going to be showing you. These were the ones I started with. These were things I had in my stash from a long time ago. This one was from when I very first was making journals, and I think I saw it on Patricia Viramonte's. This one, I'm not sure where. This has a pocket here and here. Where I saw this, but it was a long time ago, and these are kind of small. So I was looking at these, and I'm going to talk about how I kind of played with them and made different versions, much larger versions of those. For this one, just having a book page, it's folded in half, part is put down, and that's the folding. And then you glue these flaps down, and you glue along here. You can glue this whole thing down if you don't want this part to be a pocket, but you glue this down here. Then I glue here to here, and I'll show you this later. And I glue up here. So that's it. So I made a couple of these, and I made some more out of book pages. These are glued. These are glued shut, I think. Yeah, because you could put a pocket behind it, or you could make it a tuck. But these, I made these. Those are a little bit bigger. But then I tried a bigger one. This was from a big dictionary. This is this size. So I like that better. We have, let me just slide this in here. You have a pocket here, and you have a pocket here. And in this one, I didn't glue it shut, so I also have a pocket here. And you could have a pocket back here or here if you want it as well. So I'm going to show you with this one. I did start with a bigger dictionary page, and I'm going to cut some of the edges off of it. I glued it together with glue stick, and I don't always get the edges perfectly, so I usually cut some of that off. I don't need all the white on there anyway. And it might be that I cut some off the bottom when I make this as well. But this is what I'm going to start with then. Okay. And I did glue it together yesterday, or the day before, when I was preparing for this video, because I wanted to make sure that it didn't wrinkle when I folded it. So you're folding it up. Now I think I'll turn it this way and fold it so that this writing is right side up. Okay. All right. And then I'm going to fold it this way. You get it as close as you can to the edge. All right. Now, I could do it this way to be different than this one. It would be a mirror image then. Or I could be this way. I'm just kind of looking, if I fold it down, what does it look like? And yeah, I kind of like it this way because I like this even though it's upside down. Okay, so then I'm going to fold this down, and you can fold it down any any way you want. Ooh, looks like we got a spider leg or something. Scorpion end. Well, I'll be decorating it anyway. And then I'm going to fold this one down. You can fold it. You could fold it, and I'll show you this on some other ones. You could fold it this way as well, if you wanted. It makes a difference when you start using different kinds of paper. Okay, so that is the basic pocket. I'm going to undo this and glue this down. Well, I finally had my event for my hobby club. We had a fashion show luncheon. I was in charge of raffle baskets, and they were all over my room last week, so it's so nice to be done with that. And even though we only had like 90 some people at it, because that's all we could fit, the normal hall we do it in is closed right now. So it had to be smaller. So we still made on just the baskets. It was like over $600 for our club. So that was really good. Okay. Now I'm going to just close up the side. My cat, poor thing, I had her to call the vet again yesterday. She's still coughing and sick and not good. Next week I'm taking her in for blood work after she's been on medicine for a while. Okay. Now, I should have really, if I was gonna, I forgot to, let's see, I forgot to do this. I'll just kind of do it over like this. So, got kind of a lot on that one part right here, but it's okay. So, that one, this isn't a bad size pocket, you know. It's a lot better than the really little one. This is another one that I made out of a book page, and this one I took a double page like this and used it. And this one I put a notch here for the picture, and this is just that much bigger again than this one. So this is how this one is. I'm trying to decide. Apparently I was thinking about this ahead and I did this. Okay. So this one was a double page, and I'm gonna do my notch in here. And then I'm going to remember to ink before I glue everything. I'm hoping that, anyway, my cat gets better. She's 14. She's just the best cat I've ever had. She's so cuddly and loving. Okay, we're going to do this. If you wanted inside of here, you could put some glue too, but because it's folded, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so I'm going to get glue on here. So the day after the fashion show, I went on a bus trip with some people, with a club but that I'm not in, but I got invited. We did a thrift store outing. And I found some great books and some things for making journals. Everybody else was looking at clothes, and I'm in the office supply and in the book part, and looked at a little bit of clothes, but I didn't buy anything. Okay. Get this down. But that's okay. That's how I like to thrift. And here. So they're pretty fast. And you've got some like that. So then I thought, okay, what if I use other paper? So I started making some with I had these from Stampington, a magazine I got for like a year before I realized it was really expensive and I didn't use it that much. So I've got a bunch of these, and I started making these pockets. Now this is the mirror image, so you can do it either way, like I said. Also, both of these, I folded this inside instead of down, like this one is down. I folded it inside because I wanted this to show, like I didn't want to hide this. And plus, this was white on the outside. This one had kind of pinkish on the back, but this was totally white. So then I folded this one down this way. So you do have some white here and here and in here. And you could, this one, there was pink here, but not here. So I just used a tattered rose and put some underneath there. So this is another one. Now this one, it would be like this. This one had green on the back, so I folded both of them down like I did the book page ones. I folded them both down. So you can see how this is folded under, this one's folded over. So you kind of use your paper the way it wants to tell you. This was a two-sided paper, and I folded this one back this way and this one down this way so that my pockets both were the dark that was on the other side. And so look at that. This one here, it was white here and here. So I took this and I cut it off, and then I took pieces of it and I glued them, and I'll show you on another one here. I glued them like this just to cover up that white space. So you can see here I cut that off of here and I glued them under here, so that then when I put it up, this wasn't white, it was the same color as this. And that was what I did with this one too. So this one's done except for gluing. Now I also wanted to show you this, depending on how your paper is. Like this one, I folded in half this way. This one, I was looking at what I had, and I ended up folding it in half this way. So that when I folded this up, I had this flower here. So, you know, you can fold it whatever way seems to work. In this case, you have to put the glue here. Probably should ink that before I glue it. And I also, on this one, used a little pink here and here because I didn't do that. I just used some Tattered Rose ink to make it a little pink. Okay, do this. Now this is, it's kind of a light cardstock weight. So it's a little thicker than when you use book page, but I thought it was very nice. It's not too thick, you know, it's not too overly thick. And I'm gonna fold a couple of these. Okay, and I'll glue that later. I'll glue it later because I'm gonna show you making one. Now again, this one it has these people on it, and there was no way that I could fold it that this would be right side up. So I decided to do this, fold it like this and like this. And then if I put this in like this and this here, I've got that color. That's the ladies. And you don't see it, but I've got the color that's in there. I might have to make sure I fold that a little better, but I haven't used my bone folder on it yet. But and folded this one down and this one in like this. Again, I will probably put, I'll either cut some of this off and put it on there. I could show you. I could do that. Of course. Cut this off like this. I kind of went like this. Cut that very straight. This can slide up in here, kind of even with that. So we'll glue that in there. Okay. I'm going to cut part of that off. I don't want that to go into that fold. So get that placed very well. Try again. You have to get it up to the fold. Okay. And let's see. This will want to go in like this. So I'll cut some of that off. Hopefully I have enough to hide. Yep. Here I don't though. Should have cut it a little fatter. Yeah, live and learn. All right. Here. Now that will look like that. I might take a little of the edge off and whatever. And then this one, it had this bird cage on. I don't know if that's going to show up or... But I had figured I would put it like this. Yeah. If I fold this under like this, and the bird cage will show. And then I'll be folding it like this. So just play with your paper. You can do this with scrapbook paper as well. I do a lot of the next one with scrap paper. So I'm not going to glue it. I could cover that up, or I could just put a little, here, how about if I do this? I have this antique linen. Kind of that yellowish color. And then that will, that just kind of puts a little yellow on there, and I don't have to worry about it. So that's another one. So this is a nice size pocket. Okay, that's that one. So have fun exploring. Now this one. This one here is another folded pocket, just like the last one was, folded differently, of course. So I started with this. I had a couple of these in my stash from a long time ago. But again, I think they're kind of small. So I made a little bit bigger one with a dictionary page. And I'll show you how you make it. You take your paper and you fold it in thirds. Okay. Then you open it up, and this one gets folded down. Now, I'm going to end up cutting some of this off, but I don't worry about doing it until I'm done. And then this gets folded like this, and then back like this. Okay, and I think I'll cut this off before I glue it, as I might want to also. What I do is I go right to where this pocket meets the edge. Right to where that pocket, that fold meets the edge. And cut it off. So now this goes exactly to the end right there. And that's why I didn't cut that big white part off before. So again, distress if you want to. And of course, none of these are decorated. I wait and I look at what I'm making and then decorate it with that. So then I would glue here and here. And I'm not going to take the time because I'm looking at how long I've been on and I want to show you a lot more. Okay. I worked with a bigger dictionary page like I did with the other one. So this was started out as a big page like this. Same thing. Fold it in thirds. Kind of like this. This one ended up getting cut a little bit. This went down. Fold over. And I cut the bottom even. So this one is doubled. This one was single. I'll actually make this one. I'm going to take some of this white off. Okay. Kind of eyeball it to fold it in thirds. Just kind of make like a little tube like this. Okay, open it up. This one will go down to here. And fold it over. Fold it over. And cut it off. Even with where this meets the edge. Okay, so then I thought, well, I want to try to use some things that aren't book pages. So this was, it's actually, I got it from someone in the UK. So it's an A4 size paper. So I folded it in thirds and did my back and back. And now I just have to cut this even with here. And I'm not going to get my cutter up, but... and that was not a bad size. It's about 7.5 inches. So I thought that was nice. That's a good size pocket. This was a 12 by 12 paper, but because it was white on the back, I cut, and in this case, 4 inches off, folded this down. I glued the part I cut off on the back of here, so that now that's the front. And I then folded it like this. And I did have to cut some off the bottom. This one is about 8 inches, so it still fits on your page, but I thought it was a little big. So then I started experimenting, and this one started with a 9-inch square. I did the same thing. I cut 3 inches off, glued it onto here, which is on the back, and then I folded it down and folded it in. And I believe I had to cut a little off of there too, which that's a little bit smaller than I wanted. So then I started experimenting some more. This one, I did a 12 by 12 page, but I cut this 3 inches. Okay, now I'm going to show you what I cut off of here when I ended up being done with it. This is what it looked like. So I had cut 3 inches off. I glued that 3 inches onto this side here, and when I folded it down, it looked like that. Okay, folded it in like this, and whoops, and then folded. I got it like sort of like that. So then I cut this part off, and again, it's a little bigger than that one, but it's not that small. So then I tried 3.5 inches, and this is the size that I ended up with. It's a little over 7 inches tall. I started with a 12 by 12. I cut off 3.5. I'm going to make one for you, but 3.5, and glued that on, and then folded and folded. These are some other ones that I made. This one I could have put this up higher because this is always longer than what I need, so the flower showed more, but it's still pretty. And then I also did it with, I had a calendar with the Northern Lights, and I glued, I did the same thing. I cut a piece off, glued it onto here, and folded it, so inside here it's hidden because it's all folded in, was the calendar parts. So I'm going to show you how I did that. I have a paper just like this one. So 3.5. And I decided I wanted this to show. So I cut the paper. I'll turn it this way. Measure that 3.5. All right. Now this, you can see the Adora on this size. Oh, I got ink on there. I set it onto my thing. Good thing it's on the inside. Ooh. Okay, so I put this on, and I put this up higher because, see, I have a lot of extra on the back, and I wanted a little bit more of that to show. So I'm going to, well, I'll measure about where I want it. So I don't put glue over the whole thing. I want it about here and here. I'm going to put glue on there. Oh, that's not the one I want. I didn't put my thing back in. And it closed up. All right. Should work now. Yeah. I'm going to go about right here. This gives it a little bit more body as well, because with being it's just paper. Sure I was getting it the right way. I line this up with the edge. All right. Now this I can cut off right away. Get it out of the way. I don't know about you, but I have a lot of scrapbook paper. Okay, so I'm going to fold it even with this. Oh, I gotta get that. Fold it over. I liked how that looks like kind of a sunburst coming out there. Even without decoration, it's pretty. And then even with this. Hope my head's not getting in the camera. I'm trying to look over to make sure it's even. And last step. Get it even with there. Cut it off. And all you have to do is ink up and glue, and you've got a pocket. So I think it's lots of fun. I hope you will experiment with it. I'm going to pull some of these back out while I'm just saying goodbye. And these are all this kind of pocket. These are here. Another one. But I've been playing for a couple of days because I wanted to get this where I really could explain it well and show you some various ways of doing it. Here's another one like this and like this and like this. And I did all of these, and it just took me a really short time to make all these. So this is a wonderful mass making type project. So this is all we have that I was showing you today. That one was an old one. Okay, so I probably spent an hour doing this and playing around, and look at all the pockets I've got. So I hope that you will try it and experiment and see what you come up with. And I hope you'll join me for day 5, which I'm getting ready for now already. And I'll have more time, so it won't be as far away. So thanks for joining me. Subscribe if you haven't. And I'm going to say, this is Carol from Friendly Quail saying bye.